Okay, the next section of tools um, is where we can start to make things 3D as we go through it. So the push pull tool um, is what will take these two-dimensional shapes and make them 3D. So the easiest way to use it is in the isometric view, so you can kind of see what you're doing. Um, you're going to hover over it. If you can see it kind of turns shaded or has pen dots, that means that you're able to work with it. So I'm going to click on it and then I can start to pull it up. I can pull it down, whichever way. Okay. And same thing, if you'll see in the bottom right hand corner, it's telling me my distance. So I can say exactly how high I want to go up. So if I want it to be 3 feet, I can make it 3 feet high. And then now when I move around, you see I have a 3D shape versus a two-dimensional shape, okay? So in the push-pull tool, it will work on any surface in this view. So I can now come and choose this front surface and I can extend that if I need to, okay? It works on circles as well, so all of those. So that's what that does. Your offset tool you will typically use in the top view. This is going to create a copy line, again, similar to AutoCAD. So you want to be inside the shape. Okay. So again, when it's highlighted is when it'll let you click. If I'm over here, it's not going to do anything. So I'm going to click the shape that I want to offset. I'm going to click it once and then I can move out or in either way. Again, it's showing me distance down below. So let's say I wanted to create walls for this space. And the dimensions I were given were interior dimensions, I'm going to go outside. I'm going to do 4.5 inches for 4.5 inch walls. And now I've created that line. Okay. In SketchUp, what it's done is I have a shape here and a shape here still. Okay. So this is not hollow. This is a surface that's there. So I just want you to kind of be aware of that as you go through. You can delete it. I can come in here and highlight and delete or use the erase tool. But again, I usually use delete. And then it will open it up as it goes through. Um, so if I am in 3D view, and I use my push pull tool, I can come out and choose this outer area, which is my walls, and pull them up. Okay. So again, we'll say it's 8 feet because that's, one height of walls. Now I basically have created a room with walls and then there's a floor down there as it goes through. Okay. So that's what the offset tool does. Move, your basic move tool. However, with SketchUp, right now, as I've done everything, all of these faces can be adjusted. So they're not locked in. Like this is not a solid rectangle right now. Meaning if I just take this and I hover over it, it's just going to click one face. So you see as I move it, it gets kind of funky, okay? I'm going to skip to get out of it. Same thing over here. If I click on a line and an edge, it's going to change it, all right? So, and typically that's not what you're wanting to do. Usually you want to move this whole thing. So to do that, you are going to triple click, okay? So I'm going to come over, well, we'll keep using the rectangle, so we're playing with that. And I'm going to left click it 3 times quickly, 1, 2, 3. And you can see it now has highlights around everything. So I've selected the entire shape. Now, if I use my move tool, I can move the whole thing as one. All right. Let's go back to top view and let's just draw a rectangle real quick so I can show you one more thing. Okay. When you're two-dimensional, you can just click it twice. 1, 2. All right. And you can see it highlights the face and the edges. So I can move that two-dimensional. But once it becomes 3-dimensional, you have to click it 3 times. 1, 2, 3 to get all 3 dimensions. Okay. So 2 for 2 dimensions, 3 for 3 dimensions as you go through it. Um, so that's the move tool. Your rotate tool. Rotate is easiest to use for top view. Um, Again, you're going to want to select the whole thing. So this is my 2-dimensional rectangle. I'm going to click it twice, 1, 2. I'm going to come to rotate, and I'm going to pick 2 points that I want to rotate it along. So if I pick this point and this one, I can move it along that line, and it's the first line is kind of staying where it goes. Okay. If I picked this point and this point, again, my first point stays and the other one moves as it goes through. Get out of that real quick. Let's go to this 3-dimensional one. I have to click it 3 times, 1, 2, 3. And in top view, you're just going to you kind of have to remember or check to say, yep, this is my 3-dimensional. You can also, I can select it in my isometric view, 1, 2, 3, and then switch to top view and it's selected. Okay. So that way you can check to make sure you've got it all. Same thing for rotate. I'm going to click start and stop points. I can move it around. You can also move it in 3 dimensions. This can get kind of confusing. So I'm going to start here. This is the point that's going to stay. I'm going to come up to here. So this is the point that's going to move, and it's going to shift around that way. Okay. If I start here and come this way, then it'll shift around like that. Okay. If I start here and move it there, kind of same thing. Okay. So that is how you can rotate it as you go through. And then lastly is the scale. So with this, I'm going to, let me double click this, hit my scale button. So I have it here. And now I can either do like a uniform scale to it, and in the bottom, it's telling me like what that scale is, or I can just come down, I can type. So maybe I want my scale to be 1.5 times what it is. Um, oh, it's not gonna let me do that. Hold on a second. Oh, okay. I don't use scale very often, but so you can move it this way. Again, it's showing you what the scale is down below. You can move it this way as you go through. So you're just kind of adjusting it as you go along um, with that one. Okay. We don't use scale a lot in here in SketchUp. All right. Let's go through a couple more tools and then we'll take a break from this one. So next you have some of your measuring tools. So you have your tape measure, and it's also down here. Your dimensions show next to this. And then you have your text, which is up here. And here you also have your paint bucket. Down here, you have the axes and the 3D text and your protractor. We don't typically use these as you go through. All right, for your measuring tool, there's a couple ways to use this. If you can see right now, it has a little plus underneath the measuring tape. What that means is now I can use this to actually create guidelines or guide points. So if I come to 4 feet and click along here, it's giving me a line that is parallel to that line. So what that allows me to do is come over here and make sure the things that I'm drawing match up. Okay. This is useful, and you'll see it as we get into drawing windows and doors. I can also, if I start here and come down and I want to mark a point that is 3 feet, I can type in 3 feet and it gives me a little mark as to where that 3 feet is. Okay. So these are called guides. If you go into view, you can see where the guides are showing. If I uncheck guides, then those turn off. Okay. So that's what those are. Additionally, with your measure tool, if it starts off like this, if I simply hit control, it does away with that plus, and now it's simply going to measure for me. Okay. So you can just extend it. It's going to tell me what it is. Um, sorry, I was like, that doesn't seem right. But these are my freehand ones. Um, let's see, that one's still at 10 feet. Okay. So it tells me I can check this guide point. You got to get right. Okay, so for guide points, you usually need to zoom in to get right on it. It'll turn into a circle when it's connected with it, and then it will tell you what that is. So if I start here and come down, again, when it highlights it, it's 3 feet. Okay, so that will just measure for you. Your text, you're simply going to click and type what you need as you go through it, and then you can move it around. Your text does not, as you can see, as I zoom in and out, it stays exactly where you put it. So um, this is not the best way to label things. If we get into creating floor plans and things, there's another view to use for that, and I'll show you what that looks like. All right, your dimensions. Dimensions are great. They're very easy to use in SketchUp. You're going to click your dimension tool. You're going to click at your starting dimension point, click again at your end dimension point, pull it up to the distance you want, and click once more. Okay, and it's right there. So these are very easy. These do stay. So it's a great, easy tool to use. And then the last one is your paint bucket. So it allows you to apply a paint color or material. If you notice in my default tray, it opened up my materials tab. And under this, you have different materials like brick, cladding, siding, carpet, colors, colors named. It's just 2 different areas of colors, patterns, tile, etc. So we'll just do colors real quick. You would simply click the color you want, and then you click on it, and it works very similar to just how you would expect a paint bucket to use in Photoshop or Paint as you go through. Okay. We will get more into this when we talk about actually rendering your space.